So it's noontime. Took us a while to get here. We're here, October 7th. I think there was like a siren for a minute of silence for the victims of October 7th. We had rockets from Gaza this morning for all the sympathizers of the flotilla. This is what we get on October 7th, a reminder from Gaza that the terrorists are still active and still dangerous. If it wasn't for the IDF there, they would be here. And they're already in Manchester and throughout Europe. What is it called? Sleeping cells? Yeah, I really didn't mean to say negative things. I wanted to say positive things, but this is what I'm thinking now. That we're lucky to be here and we're lucky to have our army protecting us. We're lucky to be here. And may October 7th never, ever, ever happen again, and people don't understand it. They think we're dealing here with, I don't know what they're thinking, Swedish meatballs or IKEA furniture. This is serious stuff, these terrorists. They mean what they say. When they mean they're willing to slaughter every woman, man, and children, babies, and dogs, they did it. These are not nice people, and if that's the kind of people you support or anyone you know supports, it's a big shame. You can't just stop terrorists and just say pretty please with cherry on top. It doesn't work like that. So pacifism has never worked, will never work. I am definitely against wars. I'm definitely against getting killed by terrorists. And they could have come to us if it wasn't for the music festival holding them, keeping them busy, murdering, massacring them in horrible ways. I don't want to describe. Just a little bit of it makes me thoroughly sick to my stomach, and just thinking, how can you even call these people human beings? Humanitarian aid, well, and then you say, what about the children or the babies? Yeah, what about them? Why are they raising them in such a horrible ideology? See, when you point a finger towards Israel, four are pointed towards you. And the problem is people don't do introspection. They think they follow slogans blindly like sheep. And I'm just not a person that goes around with the masses. I've never participated in mass demonstrations, except for animals, and there was never more than 5 or 6 people, sadly, against the meat industry. And I just don't think there are innocent people. If civilians come and invade their neighbors who help them and do horrible things to them, sadistic things, enjoying the torture of a human being. I can't even watch a fish get caught. I think torturing any living being is horrible. And there's a big difference between the army going there and trying to eliminate bloodthirsty terrorists who are hiding behind civilian population, and what Israel is being accused of. It's a big shame. It's a big, big shame that we're not allowed to live as a free people here. Now I see there's stuff going on in Syria. Like, we live in a relatively quiet zone because of the army. The only reason we're allowed to live here is the army. Even the dogs couldn't protect people on October 7th, sadly. And so anybody who defends them, you're not defending nice people. You're defending people that are not even, I don't know if you can call them people. They're brainwashed into an ideology of hate, and it's really sad. And I actually feel sorry for them to live like that. Nobody should be raised in a hateful ideology. No one. I don't hate people in Gaza. I just don't want them here, killing again, ever. I don't want them ever again having the opportunity to do the horrific things they did on October 7th. And the only way is the IDF. That's the only way. Demonizing the IDF in Israel is not going to help. You can demonstrate in Europe, but I don't think I'm going to live long enough to know what's going to happen in Europe. But for sure, from all the people who have common sense. We know that there's no way there can be millions of people with a jihadist ideology. We're talking about people that absolutely agree with what happened on October 7th, doctors and nurses and educated people that supposedly came as refugees, supposedly, like the one in Manchester. He came as a refugee, but he supports Assad. So why the hell did UK let him in? And this is what happens when you let in everybody without sorting out, especially from the Middle East. Why would I understand refugees? Why would you let in somebody who supports a murderous regime responsible for the murder of millions of civilians in Syria? And that's the kind of person they let in. This horrible doctor. Assad was also a medical doctor, is a medical doctor. And the current president or leader of Syria is not better than him. Now they're killing the Kurds and every minority they can. Why do they do that? I don't even want to know. I just want them not to be able to do it. And all this flotilla lies. So many people believing it. But that's how Hitler came to power. People believed lies. And then they take the victims of the Holocaust and turn them into the Nazis, which is so ugly. So despicably ugly. First of all, educate yourself about what the Holocaust was before you use the terminology and to the wrong people, towards the wrong people. Anyway, it's a holiday. I see, oh, here's a wonderful police. Yeah. Is that police? Yeah, I think it is. I don't know. Looks like it. Not too much, but yeah, I think it's all police, the municipality police. I don't know. They're around if you need them. And that's what you need. You need presence of police. Although I have to say, I've seen more police in Europe doing nothing though. At least here, maybe you don't see as many police forces, but each one of them you can believe is highly effective should he need to do something. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live in Europe now. Sometimes it's hot here and sometimes there's rockets. But you know what? At least we pretty much know who the enemy is and we're not confused about that. We don't feel sorry for terrorists for the most part. We do have our extremists. And people here are very liberal on the one hand, on the other hand, not very tolerant of terrorists anymore. We gave them a chance. They were the neighbors. They got a lot of help. And then they came and made a choice, civilians, not only massacred, attacked and tortured and raped and kidnapped, they also hid the hostages. And I don't think they're going to give back the hostages, sadly. I don't think, because that's the only thing that's keeping the idea from completely demolishing them. And they don't care about life. They care about control and power. And you know what? I don't really want to care about what they think. I just want to live my own life. Live free life here. And enjoy my life for however long it will last. And sadly, a lot of people don't subscribe to that ideology. They don't just want to live. And the problem is that social media has a lot of power to spread propaganda. And it does. And that's the worst thing. When you see these elderly British people with their keffiyehs, like they went from socialism to supporting extreme jihadists, it's just so sad that they don't see the difference between oppressed people and the oppressors. That they use terminology that is absolutely wrong. A few words about Nelson Mandela. So I heard he had a fourth wife who was Muslim, and then his grandson is here in Israel right now, in prison. He was in the flotilla. And as for Nelson Mandela, who was always seen as a hero, he was actually best friends with Yasser Arafat, who started the Palestinian Liberation Organization that kidnapped planes, massacred, put bombs in marketplaces, and that's what Nelson Mandela did too. You know, it wasn't a natural liberation movement. He killed a lot of civilians. He was a terrorist, and his best friend was a terrorist. And what is a terrorist? Somebody who uses civilian population and doesn't have any moral code. And I heard that Nelson Mandela became extremist in his old age with his lovely wife. And this is the grandson. So it's a big shame that they forget who the slave traders were, who came into Africa, who was responsible for the... Oh no.